Hello my friends, it's Sheree. How you doing today? I'm working on my Dollar Tree junk journal today, and so the other day, or the last video that I did on the Dollar Tree junk journal challenge from Jessica at Paper Terrace we worked on, I showed you my list of things I already have. I have not gone out and bought anything new. I already had everything. So yeah, I'm using, if you want to make a really simple journal, and if this is your first one, it might be a good one for you to kind of follow along with, and then, you know, do what you can, because I'm going to sew around here eventually, but you do not have to sew. It would be perfectly fine if you just glued on your, if you were using fabric and you wanted to, you know, you wanted to use fabric, it would be perfectly fine to use fabric on the cover like this and glue it on, and you can see it's not going anywhere. So I use Fabri-Tac, so it's not going anywhere. But I want to do the inside now, and I'm thinking I want to look at one thing though. Just let me grab something, and I'm going to go through it with you real quick. Just 1 second. Okay, so Jessica said we could, you know, if we cheated a little bit, it would be okay. Don't worry about, you know, stressing out on the rules. And I have this pack of scrapbook paper that I got recently from the thrift store, but it was only cost me $1.69 for all of this scrapbook paper, and that was including tax. So it was a bargain, but it's calling to me. I have it sitting here. I haven't put it away yet, and it's calling to me. So I wanted to see, do I want to use fabric, the dragonfly fabric on the inside, or do I want to use some scrapbook paper? And then I could put a strip of the fabric, the dragonfly fabric down the middle, you know, on the spine. So I kind of want to look through here and see if there's anything I want to use that kind of calls to me with anything like that would match these colors. And I also have some more scrapbook paper like this in my closet that is also the same type of situation. I got a big stack of scrapbook paper at another thrift store, not the same one, a couple years ago, and it was like 99 cents. It was 99 cents plus tax, so, you know, hardly anything. So now this green one would be pretty. That green one would be real pretty with this color. Let's pull that out. This is paper, it's not cardstock. There's another one of those. Oh, that one would be cool. It's kind of got a distressed edge. And so, and it's not quite as bright of a green, but I think I'm going to pass on it. Oh, now this one's good. This one's a little brighter. I like that too. I like the pattern. I like to mix patterns. I think it makes it more interesting. This is pretty too. I'm glad I picked this up because I think I know what I want to do now. I want to use one of these patterns. This looks like flowers, or almost looks like limes, but I think it's more of a flower. Now let's see if there's anything else. This is a lighter green. That's more of a vintagey green. I'm not going kind of, you know, this is colorful, but kind of modern. So I'm not really going for, I mean, I'd use that maybe if I didn't have anything else. This is pretty also. I think I would like the others that I already picked out better though. I didn't realize there were so many greens in here, or I didn't remember it when I've already looked at it. Let's see. I try to flip through a little bit. I just want to see, is there any yellows, purples? These are kind of brownish, but very pretty. This is a vintagey yellow. There's a plainer yellow and a kind of vintagey yellow. And then, let's see, more vintagey yellows here. You can see why I got this paper, right? I had to bring it home when I saw it there. I tried to leave it behind. I told you in my Thrifty Thursday video. I tried that, and these are all pinks, and there's not really any pink in here. So we narrowed it down. And now let's narrow it down a little bit more, because I only need one piece, so it's either going to be this one. This one, I think I might like this one. It's a good all over pattern, but this is too. But I think this green goes better with it. It's a little darker, see the difference? And then this one's plainer, so You know, like I said, I like to mix patterns. So, yeah, we're going to go with this one, I think. And so, I forget what I was saying, but let's see what we can do with this. So I did pull out a ribbon here, and I think I'm not going to be able to use this clasp because I need to put the paper all the way over to here, but I'll still have this folding in, this flap. So what I'm going to do is glue down this paper with some Fabri-Tac, and I think I will again cut it. Let's see, this edge is a little rough here. Let me see if I can cut it before we glue it down, this way at least, or maybe both ways. I just don't want to cut it too short. Well, it pretty much fits there. Look at that. It pretty much fits right on the envelope this way. I don't even have to cut it. Okay, so it's just this way that I'll have to cut it, or make pockets. So, well, it's not double-sided, as you can see, but I can measure my pocket this way. So I would just fold this up this way. Let me make sure it's, I don't want to make it too short, too wide, too anything. So it would be something like this. And there I have my measurement, and now I would cut there. And then turn it around and either use it as pockets or use it for something else if I don't end up using it as a pocket. But that's where I need to cut. I'm going to cut right on the fold, so the fold kind of fits right there where I need to cut on this paper cutter. It kind of folds over the edge there when I do a fold, which is nice, so I can see where to cut. So right there. That should do it. Hopefully I cut it right? Hopefully I did. And then, but before we put the paper down, oops, sorry, I just bumped you. Goodness gracious. Little earthquake there. Little crafting earthquake. Okay, and then, yep, it looks good. I think it should be alright if I leave it as one. If you're worried about getting any kind of wrinkles or anything, you could cut it in half and glue two separate pieces, but I'm going to glue fabric over here, over the middle anyway, so I don't think that really matters. So I cut this ribbon. I think I got this ribbon at Dollar Tree. It's a grosgrain ribbon with yellow with white polka dots, and it matches the dragonflies really nicely. There's a yellow dragonfly on here too, right there. And it goes with everything. So I already cut a piece of that. And so to glue that down, I'm going to glue it underneath the paper here. So I already cut the length that I needed. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Here's my middle. I'm trying to make a little crease there so I can see where my middle is. Yeah, I got a crease. And I'm going to put that right in the middle of my envelope. And then I'm going to glue it down. So again, I'm not measuring top to bottom to make sure it's in the middle. I'm just eyeballing it. And I'm going to put a line of glue across here. So I think this is below the middle where they have this little line where the envelope was put together. I think that's below the middle, so I'm going to put my glue just above that where I think, like the middle is really right here where this yellow, the flap is, and there's a little hole and then the clasp. So you can kind of like look at that and then just go down the middle. So that's what I'm going to do, just above that fold line where they put the envelope together. But going down from the middle of the clasp, which I think is the real center of this envelope, all the way down to where the opening is. There's glue there. So, and I want my front of my ribbon down and my fold in the fold, and there's my fold right there. So let's put it in the fold right there, and then get it glued down. Now I want to put a little bit more glue under here for sturdiness. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the edge and put a little bit more glue under there, because I just put enough to get it tacked down. I didn't want to put too much under here, on here, and get it in the wrong spot. So that's why I just put one line of glue, and then I'm doing another line of glue under there to get it nice and sturdily glued down. I like doing it this way if I can on a journal, because I feel like it's very sturdy and has all of that, all of this, plus it's going to be sewn here on this side, not on this side. And then it might get a thread, well, it will get a thread through the middle, because when we sew in our signature. So that's that. And so it will tie, let's see, the flap might have to go in. The flap does get tricky, but if I put it in like that, you still have a pocket, and then you can still tie it closed on the back and the front, like that. Yeah, I'm trying to see, make sure this works. But our paper is going to come out to the edge here. That's the plan anyway. Let me see. And then our paper. No, you know, I think I'm going to have to cut my paper and have it go down to the bottom of the flap. I think I'm going to have to cut it down to the bottom of the flap, because it'll be too, it won't be sturdy enough if I don't have the envelope behind it. And I have this going around, it won't be sturdy enough. Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. We're kind of figuring this out along the way, so that's okay. You know, sometimes, I mean, sometimes you can just figure it out, even if you don't have experience doing that. You can, you know, just use your common sense and say, oh, I don't know, that looks a little iffy. You know, maybe I better do this. And so, yeah, go and do that, whatever you think is best for whatever you're doing. Okay, so we did that. Cut that piece off. And I think that'll work a lot better. Now we're going to put glue all over to glue this paper down. And I would like to put some pockets. And I was, like I said, I was thinking about using that paper, but I think I usually like to make my pockets pretty strong and sturdy. So I think I'm going to use something else for pockets, like some cardstock or something else, just something else. We'll see. We'll see what I come up with. And so right now we're just going to glue down this paper. We have our tie closure. And the glue didn't seem to show through the front at all on the fabric, and so I know it won't. This paper is a good, you know, all over pattern. It will not show through. I'm going to put a good amount of glue on here on the ribbon, so that sticks. It sticks to the ribbon nicely too. Sorry if I'm getting my head in there. And now we're going to glue this down onto the envelope. So I'm going to start over here on this edge, because this is where it needs to be even over here with the envelope and on the bottom, and then it should be good everywhere else. If it's too big somewhere, I'll cut it off, but it looks like it's all good. And so, yeah, when I put pockets in, there even will be another layer down here, so that's even adding more sturdiness. Okay, so I put a little bit too much glue here. Let's wipe that off as best we can. And I see I need to cut a little bit at the top. The paper's going up over the top a little bit, I think, because the bottom is even and looks good here, but this is a little bit over the top. So let's see what we need to do here. Yeah, I'm trying to see under the fabric. So I'm going to cut along this edge. I think it'll be alright if I just cut along the envelope edge here, straight down. And I'm just going to be careful and not cut my fabric. So I'm going to kind of pick up my fabric because I've got my pinked edge up over the top of the envelope a little bit. So I have room to pull it down, and I'm going to be sewing there. So it doesn't matter if it's like, you know, if you're thinking it's loose here and it should be glued down, it's going to be sewn there. But I don't want this paper sticking up over the top of the envelope because that'll just get tattered, you know. It'll just get tattered and messed up, so I don't want that. So that gets cut off. There we go. Okay, so that is a pretty, I like having coordinating colors, and you know, that's the reason I wanted to go ahead and just see if I could pick a piece of paper instead of the, you know, for more interest. Instead of more dragonflies, it's more interesting if you have another pattern on the inside. So there we go, we have that, and then we'll use a piece of this. This is the smaller piece of dragonfly fabric that we have. We have the other piece which I can use now that I was going to use maybe on the inside. I can use this on another journal. It's big enough for the inside, so it's big enough for another journal. And then this, I'll cut a piece for the inside spine here, and I think that'll be a nice colorful piece to put in. So let's cut across the bottom. I still have my pinking shears here. A little even line here across the bottom, and as I showed you in my first video, sorry, I got a cough there. As I showed you in my first video, this fabric wouldn't tear, which is unusual, but I'm just, you know, if it won't tear, it won't tear. So I gotta cut it, so I used my pinking shears. So let's cut a piece. I want to see the width here. So maybe about 1 inch over from the center on each side. So you'll be able to see it, and it'll add to the interest and the sturdiness. But we can still add pockets. It won't get in the way of the pockets. So I think I'm going to cut, you know what I'm going to do? There's a line right here going down the middle of these dragonflies. I'm going to cut there, so it's a little bit more than 1 inch on each side, but it'll make it easier cutting on me because I have a line to follow here. But I don't want to cut too much in case, so let's see where we are. I got another, let's see how much more I need to cut. About another 1 inch or so, so a little bit more should do it, and then we'll have a pretty centerpiece here, and we'll have our cover pretty much done except for pockets and sewing. I do need to put my pockets on before I sew. I like to get the cover all together and then sew, and then it sews everything together that you're going to sew. Hope that makes sense. Let me see if I can cut a straight line here across the top, and we can go ahead and glue this down. See, it'll be all sewn together. This will be sewn here and here when it's all said and done. And isn't that pretty all together? I actually love it. so glad. We I like to put the glue in the best place that I think it should be to get everything glued down. And I'm shaking the table, so I'll try not to do that with my glue here as I'm spreading it around, but let's put one more little bit down the middle. Okay. We can always add more on the edges, so I try not to put too much down. Just put it back down in the middle where I need it, where I know I'm going to need it, and then don't go too far out, and then you can always lift up your edge and add glue so you don't get glue too far out. Okay, so let me just I might be shaking the table a little bit, but I'm going to get my glue all spread out here. Okay, now let's go down and see I got all this edge to put glue on here. Let's do that. You can leave this loose if you wanted to, but I like to glue it down usually, or mostly. Let's get that spread down. And now this edge over here. Let's see, we've got a good edge to put glue on here. And I'm trying to, while I'm doing this, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to use for pockets. And I don't know. I have to look at my Dollar Tree list. Like I said, I want to try to stick with everything from Dollar Tree. And I don't know what I have from Dollar Tree to use for pockets, except if I use this paper. I guess if I use this paper, which I've already used, it's not from Dollar Tree, but it was $1.69 for that, all of that paper. So, like I said, so if I use that paper, I would back it with some cardstock. Let's see. So I could use a piece of it here. But I'm going to look around and decide, and then I'll show you what I decide. And then we'll go from here on the next video. We'll start getting pages together, and we'll get this journal done in no time, I think. So anyway, I hope here's the little closure so far. I'm sure I'm going to add some rickrack, and that's going to be cheating because I didn't get rickrack from or any trims. I might add some other kind of trim, and I didn't get my trims from Dollar Tree. Or did I? I don't know. Actually, I do have some pom-pom from Dollar Tree, don't I? I sure do. I might get that out. Oh, I do have some rickrack from Dollar Tree, from the Easter stuff from last year. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There we go. That's how the little tie closure will look from the front, from the back, if you were wondering. Okay, so next we'll tackle the pockets and go from there. Sewing in the next video and go from there. I'll try to pull out some papers that we can that we can use for pages. So thanks for watching today. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. See you later.